There comes a quiet moment in every life when the noise of the world begins to fade, and you realize something that no one ever taught you clearly. The world will always ask for pieces of you. Your time, your attention, your energy, your dreams. It will stretch its hands toward you with 1,000 voices, telling you who you should be, how fast you should move, and what you should chase. And if you are not careful, you will spend your whole life running after echoes that were never meant for you. Look around for a moment. So many people are exhausted not because life is impossible, but because they are living for everyone except themselves. They wake up measuring their worth against someone else's success. They scroll through the lives of strangers and begin to believe they are falling behind. They bend their spirit trying to earn approval from people who have never even learned to approve of themselves. And somewhere in that noise, the most important voice becomes silent. Your own. The truth is simple, but it is not easy to accept. Nobody will ever carry your life for you. Nobody will ever wake up every morning with the responsibility to build your future the way you must. People will come and go. Applause will rise and disappear. Opinions will change like the wind. But the one person who must live every second of your story is you. That is why there comes a moment when you must make a decision that feels almost rebellious. Focus on yourself. Now when people hear those words, they misunderstand them. They think it means selfishness. They think it means ignoring the world. But focusing on yourself is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming clear. It is about understanding that the strongest gift you can offer the world is a life that is fully lived, fully awakened, and fully owned. You see, the world will distract you if you allow it. It will tempt you to compare, to compete, to criticize. It will whisper that someone else is ahead of you, that someone else is more talented, more fortunate, more admired. But comparison is a thief that never stops stealing. It will take your joy, your courage, and even your sense of direction. The moment you stop looking sideways is the moment your life begins to move forward. Imagine what would happen if you used all the energy you spend watching others and turned it inward. Imagine what would happen if every ounce of worry about what people think became fuel for building the person you are meant to become. Imagine what would happen if you stopped asking the world for permission to grow. Because the truth is this: your greatest competition is not another person. Your greatest competition is the person you were yesterday. Every day offers you a simple but powerful choice. You can stay the same, repeating old doubts and old habits, or you can rise a little higher, a little wiser, a little stronger, and that journey begins the moment you decide to take your eyes off everyone else's path. Listen carefully. Some people spend years chasing attention. They want to be seen. They want to be praised. They want to be validated. But attention is a fragile currency. It disappears as quickly as it arrives. And when you build your life around attention, you build it on a foundation that can collapse at any moment. Real power grows in quiet places. It grows in the early mornings when you are working while the world is still sleeping. It grows in the discipline to improve when no one is watching. It grows in the courage to walk your own road even when it feels lonely. Because focusing on yourself requires bravery. There will be people who misunderstand your silence. There will be people who question your distance. There will be people who feel uncomfortable when you stop participating in drama, gossip, and unnecessary competition. But understand this: your peace is more valuable than their approval. When you begin to focus on yourself, something remarkable happens. The noise that once controlled your emotions begins to lose its power. The opinions that once kept you awake at night start to fade. You begin to realize that the world is full of distractions, but very few people are truly disciplined enough to master themselves. And mastery of the self is the most powerful achievement a human being can reach. It means knowing your worth without needing constant reminders. It means setting boundaries that protect your growth. It means walking away from places that shrink your spirit and moving toward places that expand it. When you focus on yourself, you stop begging for respect. You start becoming the kind of person respect naturally follows. Think about the strongest individuals you have ever encountered, the ones who carry quiet confidence in their presence, the ones who do not chase validation, but still command attention the moment they enter a room. They are not powerful because they are louder than everyone else. They are powerful because they are centered within themselves. They understand something that many people spend a lifetime trying to learn. The world reflects the way you see yourself. If you doubt yourself, the world will echo that doubt. If you diminish your value, the world will accept the discount. But when you stand firmly in your own worth, when you invest in your growth and guard your peace, the world begins to respond differently. Not because it suddenly became kinder, but because you became stronger. Focusing on yourself means learning to invest in your mind. It means feeding your thoughts with wisdom instead of worry. It means protecting your focus like it is the most valuable currency you own. Because it is. Your attention shapes your reality. Whatever you consistently focus on grows. If you focus on negativity, your world becomes heavy. If you focus on fear, your future becomes smaller. But when you focus on your growth, your possibilities begin to expand beyond what you once imagined. There is a reason why so many people remain stuck in the same place year after year. It is not because they lack potential. It is because their attention is scattered across 1,000 distractions. They are watching everyone else run while forgetting to move their own feet. But the moment you reclaim your attention, everything begins to change. Your time becomes more intentional. Your energy becomes more focused. Your decisions become more powerful. And slowly, step by step, you begin to build a life that reflects your deepest values instead of other people's expectations. Do not underestimate the strength it takes to walk this path. There will be moments when focusing on yourself feels uncomfortable. You will notice habits that no longer serve you. You will see patterns that once held you back. You may even realize that certain environments and relationships have been draining your spirit. Growth has a way of revealing truths we once avoided. But those truths are not punishments. They are invitations. They invite you to become more honest with yourself, more courageous in your choices, more committed to the person you are becoming. And when you accept that invitation, something beautiful begins to unfold. Your life stops feeling like a race against others. It becomes a journey toward your highest self. You begin to celebrate progress instead of comparing timelines. You begin to measure success not by applause but by alignment. You begin to understand that the most meaningful victories often happen quietly, far away from the spotlight. Because the real transformation happens within. It happens when your mind becomes stronger than your doubts. It happens when your discipline becomes louder than your distractions. It happens when your belief in yourself becomes stronger than the fear of judgment. And let me tell you something powerful. When you truly focus on yourself, the right people will not be pushed away. They will be drawn closer. Because genuine growth does not isolate you. It attracts those who are also committed to becoming better. It creates connections built on respect instead of dependency. But the journey always begins with a single decision. A decision to stop living your life as a reaction to the world, and start living it as a reflection of your purpose. So today I ask you to look within. Not at the expectations placed upon you, not at the comparisons surrounding you, but at the quiet strength that already lives inside you. There is a version of you waiting to rise. A version that is more focused, more courageous, more aligned with the truth of who you are meant to be. That version does not need permission. That version only needs your commitment. Your commitment to wake up every day and invest in your growth. Your commitment to protect your focus from the endless distractions of the world. Your commitment to walk your own path even when others do not understand it. Because at the end of the day, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Nurture it, strengthen it, respect it, and watch how your entire life begins to transform. The world will always be full of noise, but your focus can become a sanctuary. The world will always be full of opinions, but your self-belief can become an anchor. The world will always be full of distractions, but your purpose can become a guiding light. Focus on yourself, not out of arrogance, but out of responsibility. Not because others do not matter, but because your life does. And when you learn to honor that life with your full attention, your full discipline, and your full courage, you will discover a power that no comparison can steal and no distraction can destroy. A power that rises quietly from within and carries you forward with unwavering strength. Focus on yourself. There is a quiet turning point in every human life, a moment so subtle that the world does not notice it, yet so powerful that it changes everything that follows. It is not announced by applause. It is not recognized by crowds. It often happens in silence, when a person finally grows tired of living half a life and makes a decision that rises from somewhere deep within the soul. The day you commit fully to yourself is the day your real life begins. For many people, life feels like a long performance. They wake up each morning already wearing invisible masks, carefully adjusting their behavior to match what others expect. They measure their choices through the lens of approval. They ask themselves what will be accepted, what will be praised, what will avoid criticism, and little by little, without even realizing it, they begin to drift away from who they truly are. This drifting is not dramatic. It happens slowly. It happens in small compromises. A dream postponed, a truth left unspoken, a desire buried beneath the weight of other people's expectations. And after enough time passes, many people find themselves standing in the middle of a life that feels strangely unfamiliar. They look around and wonder how they arrived there. They wonder why their days feel heavy, why their energy feels scattered, why their sense of direction feels lost. The answer is often simple, though it is not always easy to accept. They have been committed to everything except themselves. Committed to pleasing others. Committed to meeting expectations. Committed to following paths they never truly chose. But a life built on those commitments will always feel incomplete, because the most important promise was never made. The promise to stand firmly in one's own truth. The day you commit fully to yourself is the day something inside you awakens. It is the day you stop waiting for someone else to define your path. It is the day you stop asking the world for permission to become who you were meant to be. Commitment to yourself is not a loud declaration. It is not something you announce to everyone around you. It is a quiet agreement between you and the deepest part of your spirit. It is the moment you decide that your growth will no longer be optional. It is the moment you decide that your time will no longer be wasted on things that shrink your potential. It is the moment you realize that your life is not a rehearsal. Too many people live as if there will always be another chance, another year, another opportunity to finally become serious about their purpose. They postpone their courage. They delay their discipline. They convince themselves that the right time has not yet arrived. But time moves forward whether we are ready or not. Days become months. Months become years. And suddenly people discover that the life they once imagined has been replaced by routines they never questioned. Commitment interrupts that cycle. When you commit fully to yourself, something shifts in the way you see the world. Your time becomes more valuable. Your attention becomes more intentional. You begin to notice how many distractions once controlled your life. You notice how easily your focus was pulled away by comparison. You notice how often you doubted your own abilities because someone else appeared more successful. You notice how many hours were spent worrying about opinions that never truly mattered. And with that awareness comes a powerful realization. Your life begins to belong to you again. Committing to yourself means deciding that your growth deserves your full attention. It means choosing discipline even when motivation disappears. It means continuing forward even when progress feels slow. Because true commitment is not based on feelings. Feelings rise and fall like waves in the ocean. One day you may feel inspired and unstoppable. The next day doubt may whisper that your efforts are meaningless. If your dedication depends on how you feel, your progress will always remain fragile. But commitment stands stronger than emotion. Commitment says that you will continue building even when enthusiasm fades. Commitment says that you will keep learning even when mistakes appear. Commitment says that you will keep showing up for your purpose long after the excitement of beginning has passed. The day you commit to yourself is the day you begin taking responsibility for your own transformation. Responsibility can feel intimidating at first. It asks you to look honestly at your habits, your patterns, and your choices. It removes the comfort of blaming circumstances or waiting for someone else to change your situation. But responsibility is also the birthplace of power. When you accept that your life is shaped by your decisions, you also realize that your future can be reshaped by new ones. You no longer see yourself as a passenger drifting through events. You become the architect of your own direction. And that shift changes everything. Because once you see yourself as the architect, you begin examining the foundation of your life more carefully. You ask different questions. You ask what habits are strengthening your mind. You ask what environments are supporting your growth. You ask what distractions are stealing your focus. These questions are not always comfortable, but they are necessary. Growth rarely happens in the presence of comfort alone. Growth demands honesty. It demands courage to release what no longer serves your purpose. Sometimes that release involves letting go of habits that once felt harmless. Sometimes it involves distancing yourself from negativity that quietly drained your spirit. Sometimes it requires stepping away from paths that looked impressive to others, but felt empty within your own heart. Each of these choices requires strength, because commitment to yourself will not always be understood by everyone around you. There will be people who question your changes, people who feel uneasy when you stop participating in conversations that revolve around complaints and gossip, people who wonder why you are suddenly protecting your time and energy more carefully. But commitment is not about seeking universal approval. Commitment is about honoring the life that has been entrusted to you. And when you truly begin honoring that life, your priorities become clearer. You realize that your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Where you place your attention shapes the direction of your days. If your attention is consumed by negativity, your perspective becomes limited. If your attention is consumed by comparison, your confidence begins to shrink. But when your attention is invested in learning, growth, and purpose, something remarkable begins to happen. Your mind expands. Your confidence strengthens. Your sense of direction becomes sharper. Commitment to yourself means guarding that attention with intention. It means recognizing when distractions attempt to pull you away from what truly matters. Distractions are not always obvious. Sometimes they appear in forms that seem harmless at first. Endless scrolling, constant comparison, the habit of watching others live their lives instead of building your own. Hours disappear in these patterns without producing any real progress. But once you commit fully to yourself, you begin to reclaim those hours. You begin to treat your time with respect. You start investing your energy in activities that move your life forward rather than leaving it standing still. And as you continue making these choices day after day, something powerful begins to grow inside you. Self-trust. Self-trust is one of the greatest rewards of commitment. It is the quiet confidence that forms when you repeatedly keep promises to yourself. Each time you choose discipline over distraction, that trust deepens. Each time you continue learning instead of giving up, that trust strengthens. Each time you rise again after failure, that trust becomes more unshakable. Over time, you begin to realize that your greatest support system is not external approval. It is the belief that you can rely on yourself. This belief becomes the foundation of resilience. Challenges will still appear. Obstacles will still test your patience. There will still be moments when progress feels painfully slow. But when you trust yourself, those moments no longer convince you to stop. You understand that growth is not always visible in the beginning. Sometimes progress happens beneath the surface, like roots expanding underground before a tree ever breaks through the soil. Commitment allows you to continue nurturing those unseen roots. It teaches you patience with your own evolution, because the truth is that transformation rarely happens overnight. The strongest changes are built through consistent effort over long periods of time, day by day, choice by choice, effort by effort. And while the outside world may not immediately recognize these changes, something inside you knows they are happening. You begin to feel stronger in ways that cannot be measured by applause. Your thoughts become clearer. Your decisions become more confident. Your sense of identity becomes more grounded. You stop needing constant reassurance from others because you are building a deeper relationship with yourself. This relationship is where real life begins. Not the life defined by comparison or competition, not the life measured by external validation, but the life that grows from alignment between your actions and your purpose. When that alignment begins to form, even ordinary moments start to feel different. Your work gains meaning because it reflects your commitment. Your habits gain significance because they are shaping the person you are becoming. You wake up with a sense of ownership over your direction. You no longer feel like a spectator watching life pass by. You feel like an active participant in your own unfolding story. And with that participation comes a quiet but undeniable sense of freedom. Freedom from the pressure to imitate others. Freedom from the constant fear of judgment. Freedom from the exhausting habit of seeking validation from people who may never truly understand your vision. This freedom does not isolate you from the world. Instead, it allows you to engage with the world from a place of strength rather than insecurity. You begin offering your talents, your ideas, and your presence with authenticity rather than performance. Because when you are fully committed to yourself, you no longer need to pretend to be someone else. You are able to stand firmly in who you are becoming. And that authenticity carries a unique power. People are naturally drawn to individuals who live with genuine conviction. Not because they are perfect, but because their direction is clear. Clarity creates presence. Presence creates influence. But the influence that grows from authenticity is never forced. It emerges naturally when your actions consistently reflect your values. And all of it begins with that quiet turning point. The day you commit fully to yourself. The day you stop treating your potential as something optional. The day you decide that your dreams deserve discipline. The day you realize that your future is shaped not by occasional bursts of motivation, but by steady dedication to growth. Each morning after that decision becomes another opportunity to strengthen the commitment. Some days will feel powerful and full of momentum. Other days will test your patience and perseverance. But the difference now is that you understand the purpose of the journey. You are no longer wandering through life searching for direction. You are building direction with your own choices, and every step taken with intention becomes another brick in the foundation of the life you are creating. That foundation grows stronger each time you honor your commitment, stronger each time you choose progress over comfort, stronger each time you invest in your own evolution rather than waiting for circumstances to change. Because the most meaningful transformation does not come from sudden breakthroughs. It comes from the quiet persistence of someone who decided that their life was worth the effort. And once that decision has been made, something within you refuses to return to the old patterns of hesitation and doubt. You begin moving forward with a deeper sense of purpose, guided by the understanding that your life is not meant to be lived halfway. It is meant to be lived fully, intentionally, and courageously from the moment you commit to becoming the person you know you can be, nobody else.